Welcome to a Friday Discussion with the Empire, where we share stories to elevate leaders. My name is Mimi, and I will be your host for today. I am honored to call our next guest my friend. He is a father, a dancer, a motivator, who's also a project manager for the Boeing Company. Please help me welcome the one and only Ellis McCree. What is one risk, one of the most important risks that you took, professionally or personally, where it shaped your life entirely? Because you share a few stories of how, I don't know how you survived this, but no way. But for me, I know I would have been on the floor for a very long time. But you talk about taking risks, having confidence to make it through almost the worst challenges. What is one of the most important risks that you took and that really shaped your life?
Well, first, I would say that I sort of I rarely volunteer to do things, but if I'm voluntold or put into a situation, I just take one step at a time. I think the one event that shaped me probably was when I first got to Vietnam, and I was anticipating being in just a regular infantry unit, and when my orders came and I was attached to a special unit, so I didn't know what my role would be in that special unit, but I said, okay, I'll stay, I'll go through it. And it ended up being a special train group, 6-man teams, operating behind enemy lines, gathering information to as much intelligence information to bring back to our division for their understanding. And it was scary, but I could have walked away from that unit and said, no, I don't want to participate in this. But something inside of me said, no, go for it, you know. And that experience, and combined with the Vietnam experience of going on several missions and confronting enemy elements, succumbing to friendly fire. I know it brought me closer to God because I was praying a lot. I was praying sometimes that I knew from one incident when bullets were raining like a monsoon storm, and bullets were splashing mud in my eyes, nicking the heels of my shoes, and I prayed so hard, and then it just cleared up and it stopped, and I regained consciousness of what was going on around me, and the one thing that I learned was that I know I'm going to die, but I'm not going to die in Vietnam, because if I was going to die in Vietnam, it would have been then. It really would have been then, when guys on both sides of me sustained serious injuries. And I had, like I said, rounds splashed mud in my eye, rounds nicked the heel of my shoe, and other than that, I had no injuries, nothing like the guys on both sides of me, you know. And so that risk of just staying in that unit, potentially been exposed to experiences like that, really shaped me, and I got a lot to say to people about nature, surviving in a year without necessities like electricity and hot running water, knives and forks, salt and pepper, hot dinner plates and stuff like that. I came out of that with the understanding that our Creator created all of us perfect to survive on this earth. And we have been separated from this earth and spoiled. But under forced conditions, we can go back to the earth. We will learn that we don't need the air conditioning, the electricity, the light switches. There's so many things that I went without that shaped me who I am today, you know. And I appreciate life. I really appreciate life.
Oh, yes, we know.
Yes.
We know. Let me ask you this. You mentioned Vietnam. Obviously, you were in the military for about 20 years.
I didn't do 20. I did only 2.5 years.
You did 2.5.
Yes.
So why did you join in the first place?
Well, I was drafted right out of high school. I believe that during that period of time, when families who had multiple sons were getting any kind of government subsidized housing and or medical benefits or any kind of subsidies they were getting, the government would approach those families first and foremost as if they had a debt to pay and would draft their sons and send them off to war. I truly believe that because in my neighborhood, there was such a large number of young men my age with similar backgrounds. For instance, my dad had a real good job, real nice salary, 8 kids. Housing would be an issue. So he didn't qualify for anything else but subsidized housing. So, you know, but then also, I had been awarded as a state in foster home. The state took care of us while my mother regained her health. And so you have those kind of numbers in your background, you know, our government system comes back and expects those families to pay for all of that. They don't. It's not a written requirement, but it seemed like a common practice. And with that being said, that's the world we really live in. You know, if the government think that they've given you something, then you will be in that group that's going to pay it back. And being an African American, being in a predominantly African American city at the time, Vietnam was raging, and they needed bodies, and they were taking young men right out of high school. As soon as you turned 19, if you weren't in school or had a deferment, a college deferment, you were going to be drafted. If you had the misfortune of having legal issues, they were giving young men at that time choices to either go to jail or go to the army. So the makeup of the military back then, in the early stages of Vietnam and before they entered the draft, consisted of young men with my background or young men who had legal problems and took the decision to join the army instead of do prison time. That was the makeup of the military. And that affected my life, and it was a good thing because, again, I go back to the Most High. He's all watching, all knowing, all understanding. He knows what He's preparing you for.